Hey, what up everybody, and welcome to our channel where my wife and I usually post videos like the ones where we made this beach house. If you want to see the entire playlist of that, you can click there. But this video is a doctoral project for school where some other graduate students and myself did research about fair and equitable education for all. So I said, hey, I'll make a video about that research, and that video comes right after this short intro video. Hey, what up? We're Pastor Matty Ice.
And we love water.
Trees need water to grow.
You especially need to drink water when working outside.
And we like to preach the living water wherever we go.
So enjoy these videos of our beach house.
And if you want to go on an adventure with us,
hit that subscribe button
as we use our resources around the world. When some group mates and I, for our continuing professional education class, were given an assignment to create a project, we thought about free and equitable quality education for all, specifically the barriers that keep individuals from getting that. And as soon as we were given that topic, I thought, I have the perfect illustration to demonstrate that, and it's this beach house, or beach hut rather, that my wife and I made here on a beach on the island of Saipan. Now, when we were making this, we came across many different barriers that made it easy for us to have this beach hut on this long beach to keep us and other individuals in the shade. But for this project, I'm going to list 4 of those barriers and tie them into barriers that keep individuals from having that free, equitable, quality education for all. Now, there will be link or other references in the description below for this, so I'm just going to run through it and give you the video presentation, but if you want to see the full project, check the link in the description below. Now, for each of these 4 barriers, which are gender, individuals with disabilities, artificial intelligence and reducing workforce, and family upbringing, I'm going to focus on 3 different things to really set the stage. The first being the ocean view, or what's the reality of the situation. The next I'm going to focus on is the ocean wave, or what's the storm that is really hitting the individuals at the time. And the last one, of course, will be the surfboard, or how are we going to overcome that wave, or how are we going to bridge ourselves so that we can overcome that roadblock. The first barrier we're going to talk about in free, equitable, quality education for all is gender. Now, the barrier as it relates to this beach hut is a very long beach. Here at Aubergine Beach on the island of Saipan, it's very, very long. Now, when you're walking, you'll be like, oh, now we could put a beach hut there, but then after you look closer, you realize, nah, we can't because of whatever. Now we keep going, and there looks like another spot, and you always look like you're to the end. You always look like you can have a spot to put your beach hut, but when you look closer, you're still a long way off. And that's what I want to relate it to with gender. Now, the group mate who looked at this, she found this really cool diagram here that was reported in a 2015 research article about rural women in Thailand and the inequality that comes in with that. So that sets the stage for the ocean view, or what's the reality of the situation. Because it's not just in Thailand where this happens, but let's look at this ocean wave. Check out this quote here. The social value attached to maleness and femaleness, where transmitted and can be seen through the teacher's attitudes and beliefs. It's not seen through the textbooks, it's not seen through anything else, but sometimes just the teacher's attitudes and beliefs. Women are taught that they must be nurturers. Their jobs relate to that, whereas men are taught that they must be providers. Their jobs relate to that. So that's the reality for both genders. Now let's look at this. How do we overcome this barrier of gender? Let's look at the surfboard here. So we can see in these graphs here that women are surpassing men on both bachelor and doctoral degrees received. Even though that in our beach hut there might not have been enough wood at certain spots, which relates to a lack of financial resources to pay for women's education, or that there's not enough shade or lacking childcare because the women have a higher responsibility at home, or there were certain ecological issues keeping us from building our beach hut certain places, that women are still getting these bachelor's degrees and doctoral degrees higher than men. But that same study showed, well, why are men not getting it? So there's still a long way for us to go. And here's a quote that the individual who put this together came up with from a 2018 article. It said, "In order to dismantle these barriers, we likely need educators at all levels of education to examine their own biases and stereotypes." So the next barrier keeping individuals from free, equitable, quality education for all is individuals with disabilities. Once we found a spot where we were going to build our beach hut, we had to find resources to build it, to provide this shelter. But the problem here is, here on this beach, there are a lot of vines that hold down all of the dead branches. So how are we going to find it? It's like all of our resources are invisible. So the reality, the ocean view of the situation is demonstrated in this graphic here. It's an estimated 1 billion individuals around the world have some type of disability. So what is the ocean wave? Like, how is this keeping individuals from quality education? Well, check out this quote here that came from somebody who was at a conference, and this quote here, I literally had a professor say, "Well, I've never had students of that kind before, so I don't know what to do." That same individual in the same article also wrote, "2/3 of college students don't receive accommodations simply because their colleges don't know about their disabilities." So it's like we didn't know these branches were there. We didn't even know. So what? We just can't build the beach hut just because they are invisible and they're hidden and we have to like dig through and find something? Well, see, here's the surfboard that can allow us to overcome those waves and have a bridge past those roadblocks. Here's a perfect example. Check out this image here. It's from Unlocking Freedom Initiative, which was undertaken in Europe to educate previously institutionalized individuals. So these individuals, it's not always just about what you have or what you don't have. See, a lot of these individuals are overlooked just because they're not the same, that they don't have what someone else has. So I think about those vines that hide these branches, just like these disabilities often hide people, and the schools just don't know what to do with it. So are you a person in power, or maybe you're not? You're at the grassroots level and you're like, oh, I can help these individuals get that quality education, and not just get it for the first time, but to succeed in it and to continue on doing it. The next barrier that keeps individuals from free, quality education for all is artificial intelligence and a reducing workforce. Now, for us, once we cleared the space, once we got the vines, we found a bunch of ironwood. Now, ironwood trees here in the Pacific are native, and so there's a lot of research done on the island of Guam, which is 130 or so miles south of the island of Saipan. And ironically, these very sturdy trees are dwindling because of both biological things and non-biological. What's the ocean view? What is the reality of the situation? Oxford Languages defines artificial intelligence: the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages. So what's the ocean wave? What is the storm that is happening that's causing a difficulty, especially in the field of adult education? As a result, some occupations will decline and others will grow. Check out this little chart here. I really loved this graphic that one of my classmates found. And you can see in the top right quadrant, the ones using unique mind and motor skills, they're safe from artificial intelligence. However, in the left side, those jobs using routine motor skills and mind skills, they're in danger of being eliminated. According to the same article as before, quote, 400 million workers could be displaced by automation in the period of 2016 and 2030. Wow. So what is the surfboard that can allow us to ride this wave out and overcome these obstacles? Ensuring inclusion and equity in AI education. The second, developing quality and inclusive data systems to inform AI in education. And last is preparing teachers for AI-powered education and preparing AI to understand education. So when we prepare this really cool article and our beach hut, we see that in the left quadrant that our machetes can break. Ironwood is really difficult to cut, so you probably shouldn't use a human to make a beach hut out of ironwood. But we see in the right that we can stack the different branches together. We can put them in a way that, I need unique mind and motor skills to be able to put this together. Back to that earlier research from the island of Guam, the only way that they're going to save indigenous Pacific ironwood trees is to understand what's causing it and understand how to overcome it. And that's very similar in the field of artificial intelligence. We need to understand what it is and figure out a way not to just, bandage it, but to overcome, to use it, and to teach it so that we can create an entire new market perhaps, so that there are more individuals prepared to utilize what we have so that we don't just kill it off but continue on into the next generation. The last barrier that we're going to talk about that keeps individuals from having this free, equitable, quality education for all is family and the upbringing. Now, how it relates to this beach hut is it's very, very hot here on the island of Saipan, and especially on this beach because of the rocks that are here. It's white, it blinds your eyes, it's very hot here. So it's just the way it is. The Guinness Book of World Records reports that Saipan has the most equal level of temperature for a short period because over the entire year the temperature will only vary 20 degrees or even less. So it's gonna always be pretty much 80 degrees. You come out in the morning, you come out at night, and it's gonna be sunny. That's just the way it is. Here is the ocean view. Here's a quote that says, the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey in 1999 to 2006 found that approximately 20% of children and 31.5% of adolescents in the U.S. regularly skipped breakfast. So what's the ocean wave? What's the storm that relates this reality of breakfast to family keeping individuals from education? Well, evidence shows that, quote, breakfast is associated with lower risks of obesity and chronic disease and is correlated with improved cognitive and motor functions and better achievement in school. Well, now that same article sent out this survey in a Midwestern state to say who was and was not taking advantage of breakfast school program. 37% of the parents said they didn't take advantage because of something that was based on their decision. 13% said the cost was too high. 12.8% said the timing of school breakfast did not fit family schedule. 12.5% said child did not get ready for school in time. Additionally, 1.4% of these parents made the choice solely because of their pride. So what's the surfboard? How do we overcome these obstacles? Well, this was my portion of the paper, so I'm going to relate it directly to the Bible and how Jesus called his 12 disciples. Here's a quote. It says, individuals do not go to work in a capitalist free market system, so to speak. Rather, they are embedded in relationships. And then it continues and says, fishing, so that's what the guys did, fishing is a kin-based profession. Sons work with fathers. Sons undertake every aspect of work and, like their fathers, make only subsistence living from it. So the sons just did exactly what the parents did. So how did they overcome it? Well, Jesus went and he said, hey, quit this job and come with me. Rabbis typically selected disciples from among those who wanted to learn. And I think that happens in today's society as well. We typically just educate those people who want to be educated. But the problem is the kin base, the relationship. It's like, I'm only good enough for this? Well, Jesus went out of his way and he used grassroots level that were a little out of the ordinary to educate. My wife and I put the beach hut here way far away using a machete to make this thing so that even though the government is not going to build a beach hut out here, nor should they, that we still provide a little hut if individuals want to come and get shaded. So you, maybe you're a parent, or maybe you're a Sunday school teacher, or maybe you're just a person, you can help provide that free, equitable education by encouraging individuals to be their best selves. Not the best selves of their parents or their forefathers, but their best self. So what's the conclusion for this whole thing that I may have gotten a little too passionate about? I apologize, because education is important. So how do we make sure that individuals can get education and be their best selves? Ultimately, we have to recognize that we are different people who are motivated by different things. And some things will come easier to some of us, and other things will come easier to others of us. So the common theme for gender inequality and people with disabilities and artificial intelligence and family education is all education. Wait, what? So we see in the issues of gender, disabilities, and AI that staff and faculty often overlook, or they often put subliminal messages in the case of gender inequality, and that really shapes what people feel like they are able to accomplish. And that's the same thing with family education. Students only think that they can do so much because their parents only thought that they could do so much. People don't tell them that they can accomplish their best selves. They can be them, and they can do something that's far greater. So free, equitable, and high quality adult education for all can be a reality, but only if we put it to practice where we are. So you may simply be a parent, so you can put it into practice by not restricting or limiting your child to what is familiar to you. So the same is true for all individuals up to the highest ranking college and university administration. Where you are, I encourage you to make your beach hut, to provide shelter for individuals in this crazy, difficult task of continued education. They're like, what can I do? What can I accomplish? Who can I be? Well, you be that shelter. It might be difficult. You got to walk a long way on this beach and go past, even though gender inequality has come a long way, we got to keep going. We got to look through the vines. There may be individuals who are hidden or invisible in society because of a disability. They don't look like somebody else, or their skills don't look like someone else's. But we have to dig through that and find. And what do we find? We find these ironwood trees that are very sturdy and can help us go into the next generation and can help the next culture, but we got to do the work and put them into practice. And of course, lastly, you got to stay out of the heat. Stay out of just what tradition tells you. Stay out of just what's passed down. And that goes in with the other three as well. So that is our whole group's encouragement for you, that we all together can provide free, quality, equitable, high, good education for all people. Thanks for watching. Wow, I'm so sorry that I got so passionate in that. Thank you for watching it all the way to the end. It's just with all of our videos, I feel very passionate about people, all of us being our best selves and not limiting other individuals. So if you want to watch more videos of ours about being our best selves wherever we are in the world, you can subscribe. Again, if you want to watch more videos about us actually making this beach hut out here at Overjump Beach on the island of Saipan, there will be a link somewhere. Okay, again, thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Pastor Matt. Wherever you are in the world, stay chill and float on.